Sci-Fi Invasion, where I, your host, Joey Hollywood, tries to get through all 50 movies in this 50 movie box set in 50 weeks. The movie I watched today was Operation Stardust from 1968. Right off the bat, I had a good feeling about this one. I just sat through 3 movies that barely qualified, if qualified at all, as science fiction. So this one gave me some hope. I really like sci-fi movies like this one, where it's like, they're B movies, they're mostly dubbed, they got really cute special effects, it's very much of the time, it's very cheap. I love these kind of sci-fi movies, movies like The Prehistoric Planet, like just that level of corniness I've always been drawn to. I think there's another one called Robinson Crusoe on Mars. I like those kind of movies, I've always been drawn towards them. I've always been primarily a science fiction and horror fan. I don't know, I like this type of movie a lot, and when it first started I thought maybe it was a German film. It was clearly not American, but I was wrong. It was actually an Italian movie. I usually have an eye for that, but I missed it this time. I thought it was German, but it's Italian. The opening credits are very loud and colorful, and I was like, okay, I'm in for a treat. And you know what? For the first like 30 minutes to an hour, I was in for a treat. I really enjoyed the hell out of the opening of this movie. It's the little miniatures and the little like overlay special effects that I just love about these kind of movies. I was having a blast. There's some really like unsettling imagery for how cheap this movie is. There's like a bunch of robots in it that they look like humans because they're wearing like helmets. He's like, oh, this guy, take off your helmet. What do you got hiding under there? And he takes off his helmet and his face comes off with the helmet. And there's a little robot, like, just eyes and stuff underneath. And it's actually unsettling. For how cheap and corny this movie looks, it's actually an unsettling moment. And I live for these moments in these kind of films where like, oh, that's actually kind of effective. But the premise of the movie is they're going to the moon or an asteroid, I think it's the moon. And while they're there, they all their equipment starts acting up, and they find that there's a giant like mothership of an alien race there, and they're seeking the help of humanity because they're all dying of like essentially cancer, like leukemia, but they keep on calling humans primitive, but they're seeking our help for leukemia, which doesn't make any sense. But this is like the species is so old that they're deteriorating, and there's a female character that acts like super strong. If you watch these kind of movies, you know, she's like, goes, oh, you primitive humans, I don't understand you. And then the American guys like gives her like a forceful 60s kiss that somehow makes him endearing to her and not like super creeped out like people would be in real life. And when it's doing this stuff, when they're on the moon or the asteroid, whatever it is, I'm actually really enjoying it. And even when they come to Earth. But Earth is where the movie kind of falls apart a little bit, because they get to Earth, and for some reason they decide to go to South Africa. For some reason, they're like, we'll go to South Africa because no one will suspect us to be there. And I'm like, okay, that's a very all right. I guess it's cheap to film there or something. But they get there, and then the movie like just kind of turns into just, I don't know, more comparable to like a spy, like a cheapo spy movie, because they're trying to find doctors, and they start fighting the South African government, and that's like the whole second and third act of the movie. They're just doing stuff with the South African government. South Africa thinks that they can take on the galaxy for some reason, and there are cute moments where like the aliens are lifting them with their minds and throwing their cars and stuff. All that stuff's fun, but it's so few and far between. There's double crosses in it, and it doesn't live up to the expectations set up by the first act. For me, at least. I think it's still fun. I think this is a fun watch with friends, but as far as this set goes, it wasn't consistently good. It starts off great if you're into that kind of thing, but as it goes on, it just kind of peters out. Not terrible. This would actually be a great candidate for a riffing show, because they could really make that second and third act, they could spice it up a bit and make it more entertaining, where as it is, it's just kind of meh. But the first act I really liked. I liked that first act enough that I didn't mind it, that it was getting kind of less entertaining as it went along. But I still enjoyed it. Yeah, and I recommend this one. I recommend this one. If you have this box set and you don't know which one to watch, you could do worse by watching this one. You could watch The Creeping Terror, which I do not recommend. I enjoyed this one for what it was. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm Joey Hollywood. Remember, please be kind and rewind.